Oh man, I just realized that whole time that our microphone wasn't on. So they didn't hear anything we were talking about. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, so for those of you who were tuned in to the first, I don't know, 5-6 minutes of that, welcome to the stream. Welcome back to ProfNoki. This is another live stream. Today I'm sitting down with Aubrey. Just her and I, looking for shiny Max Raid Dens here. Or well, I guess shiny Magikarp Max Raid Dens. Addison's here. We've been going by that in a long time. Addison's here playing Oregon Trail. Hey Mike, welcome to the stream.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
And who else?
Were you here at the beginning when I didn't have my microphone on?
Is there Mike and Duck?
No, he's not in yet. I think actually Duck might be in school. This one's a little tougher than the last one. Ah, put the shield.
That shield is only one.
As I was saying before too, when the microphone was currently off, this will probably be the last time that I stream any Magikarp Shiny Raid battles for the week, since tomorrow is the end of the event. Tonight I'm going to be doing a live stream with my wife, and we'll be doing a fun stream where we draw at random and play through our games. But if anybody did not have the opportunity to participate in the Shiny Magikarp raid battles, any of the extra shinies we have at the end of this, we'd be more than willing to trade off. So, and yeah, Mike, I agree. That was some really great conversation we had yesterday in the stream. I love talking Pokemon and hearing other people's theories and their ideas and even their perception on how these games turned out, the things they would have liked to have seen. So yeah, thank you so much for participating in that conversation. It was awesome. That's actually what makes me really excited to continue doing these live streams and building the audience, because I would love to have just a really lively conversation. Everybody in the chat having a great time talking Pokemon or just any gaming, really. We'll see if I catch it.
No.
Hey, don't be like that. Don't be negative just to be negative and argumentative. Don't. See, look, I did catch it.
I caught it too.
See? Go ahead.
I broke out.
It did not break out. Whoops, didn't mean to add it to my party. Also, Mike, I really did enjoy your theory. I really do think that you are onto something there. I never really, it's like one of those things where I was aware that all the rivals have ties to important NPCs in the game, but I never really, made that full connection. Like, wow, every single game has at least one rival where they have a relative that is somebody very important to the storyline. So, and I haven't taken the time to look yet to see if there is a definitive pattern to it or not. But it would be interesting to find out if that is the case. And if so, then like we talked about, maybe you could actually predict, how the next rival will be related in future games, if there is some form of pattern that they've been following at least. Either way, there's definitely an awesome theory video that can be made over the entire topic, so I really dig it. Any more dens? Or are you... should be looking for dens. And find more Magikarp. Oh, got one!
I'm waiting for you to join another.
I already did.
Wait. Over there.
What?
remote.
It's the Joy-Con grip, so it holds the Joy-Cons in here. I don't like having the Joy-Cons in separate hands. It makes me feel strange.
No,
I've been playing games for so long
Johnny.
with just a controller in my hand that when you separate it, it just feels weird to me.
You get the
Yep, no shiny for this one either.
you get the Dynamax rubber boot.
Yes, I am.
Rubber boot.
Rillaboom.
Yep.
Have what? That's its hair.
Heal.
Of course. Of course. Get that out of there real quick, Black.
You get the heal.
Yeah, his shield already got knocked out.
Heal.
Nice.
Water. I never even got attacked yet, but now I did. See? Goes like that.
Awesome.
Smell of regrets.
Smells nice. You put some of your perfume on?
Yeah.
Nice.
I only have 17 balls. 17 of Pokeballs. 1 Lego ball. And 2 of
Premier
these
balls?
Premier balls. And 18
Great balls.
Great balls.
I think you only need a Pokeball to catch this one. See, Mike, you're saying the more that you think about it, the more you can't wait for new events. Also, do I think if they introduce other legendaries and mythicals, that they'll be brought in through raid events? Because couldn't people? Yeah, actually, you're right. I don't know necessarily that the mythicals and legendaries would be brought into raid events. Because you're right. Then people would get tons of them because you could just join other people's. I mean, it would be cool if they just didn't care anymore and they didn't care if people had multiple legendaries. I mean, that would kind of
I think get your feet up
depreciate the
down.
value of the legendary per se. So maybe that wouldn't really be the best.
Well, that hurts him. That could hurt
I mean, maybe they'll just specifically use mystery gifts.
He doesn't.
Kind of like how they did with the.
No, he doesn't.
How about you guys just both stop? There's no need to argue over it. They could very well bring it in through mystery gift, kind of like how we talked yesterday. They're really using mystery gift mainly for items, but that doesn't mean necessarily that's the only thing they would use it for.
Go on.
It would kind of suck if they just gave you the mythical or legendary, though. Like, you just entered in a code and then you went to the Pokemon Center and there was some dude in there to grab it from, like they did with Sun and Moon. That's boring to me. It'd be much nicer if, like what you were talking about, where, in a sense, like with the Latios flute, but maybe more like with the Arceus flute, where you get a mystery gift to download an item, and then you take the item to a specific location in the game, and then it unlocks the legendary somehow. That would be, I feel like, the best way to do it. But yeah, I'm actually excited for more events. I really think they could go really big with it, honestly. But we'll see. I mean, I had a lot of high hopes going into Sword and Shield and some of those hopes weren't exactly met per se. So I don't want to get my hopes up that, you know, they have these grand plans going forward and then I'm just let down per se. Because I do love the game. I do. I absolutely love these games. Of all Pokemon games, these rank in the top, you know, 3. I have like a tie of 3, you know, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Oras, and then these, you know. Not to say I didn't like the others, but those are definitely my 3 favorite Pokemon game sets. Break the term legendary system. I think the Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby wormholes were best. Yeah, honestly, that was cool. That was really cool. I loved going around hunting in, you know, isolated and hidden locations and, you know, the Mirage Islands and stuff like that. Like, it added so much more exploration and, you know, just fun to the enjoyment to the game just to get that Pokemon, you know? Versus it just being like, okay, go meet this guy in the Pokemon Center and he'll hand it over and then you'll have no attachment to this Pokemon at all, so you won't really do much with it. You know? I mean, I guess I didn't entirely mind with Sun and Moon. They did the Ultra Wormholes for capturing legendaries from other games. That wasn't a bad system either, really. I mean, a little strange compared to what maybe they could have done, but I'm never against them trying out new things to see what works best. I just want them to try to actually give some value back to the legendary and mythical Pokemon. I mean, back in Generation 1, Mew was quite literally, I mean, I shouldn't say quite literally, pretty figuratively, but close to being impossible to get. I mean, if you had an actual real Mew that wasn't hacked into the original games, you had to go through some extreme lengths to get that. And even going into Generation 2, it wasn't that easy to get some of the legendary mythicals. And Generation 3... But then, you know, they started kind of making things a little bit easier after Generation 4. And then we kind of got to the place where we are now. Oops. Where we are now, where it's just, you know, they just hand it over to you. I really am secretly hoping, too, by the way, that, they're like, they knew that Sword and Shield was going to be kind of empty and shallow because it was the first system on, or the first real games on the Switch, and they wanted to get everything going, but then, you know, hone it over time so that when Generation 9 comes out, the games are going to be, you know, amazing. Because, I guess if you go back to all of the Pokemon games that came out for new systems, like Ruby and Sapphire, I think Black and White, or I know X and Y for sure came out they were the first ones on the 3DS. But if you look at the very first games that came out for each system that Nintendo developed, the very first games for Pokemon were always a little lackluster. They always had a few things missing. They always kind of approached the games a little bit cautiously, and they kind of took the easy road. And I think it's because they, you know, they're working with a new system for the first time, and they want to make sure that the game itself just runs and they don't have any hiccups. And then with their future games on the same system, it seemed like they went through and made a lot more effort to develop it out, add more, you know, mechanics in a sense, and grow the games bigger. So I feel like, you know, maybe either the Sword and Shield revisions or the Diamond and Pearl remakes or Generation 9, we'll start to see some of this progression and this growth on the Switch as Game Freak kind of gets their bearings with it. I know that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee was technically on here too, but those games were nowhere near the technical capabilities of something even like Sword and Shield. Like you're saying, maybe the starters will get Gmax forms in a future event. Like, I can see the starter raid where the Pokemon is holding a special thing that lets your Pokemon Gmax, or some Gmax starter raids. Yeah, that's actually something I've been very curious about, because when they introduced Mega Evolutions, you know, it was like one of the big things that they gave the starter Pokemon Mega Evolutions. So, I was very curious why the starters didn't get Gmax forms. So I think, you know, you could be onto something there too, Mike. I think they could pull something like that off, where they give us a Gmax forms for the starters in raid battles, or something along those lines. Or maybe like you get a mystery gift for an egg, and that egg hatches into a starter Pokemon that has a G-Max form or something, you know. And yeah, maybe Game Freak tried to get our hopes up, hopes slightly lower so they can blow us out of the water. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I think, at least from the interviews I watched, I think they truly felt like they did deliver the best possible game they can with Sword and Shield, and maybe that's just, you know, with the work they put into it and with the goal they were achieving, that's what they achieved, was what they were setting out to do, and maybe this is it, you know, it's just as is. But yeah, maybe you're right, like I said, maybe they went into this game knowing that this wasn't going to be the greatest Pokemon game on the Switch. You know, maybe it's just the beginning of the Pokemon games on the Switch, so.
Come on to have.
Wow.
I can even evolve my.
All you have to do is give it a couple, because it only needs to level up one.
So should I just give?
Aubrey has 118 medium experience candies.
So should I only give one to it?
I would give it like 2 or 3.
2 or. I'm gonna give it 2.
Where are my other dens? I don't see any. What am I missing here?
It's evolving!
Very
Only
nice.
2.
Shiny Gyarados.
No, I have a red
The very
Gyarados.
first shiny that every traditional Pokemon player ever pretty much got, actually, was Shiny Gyarados. Way back in Generation 2.
I got a shiny Gyarados. Shiny Gyarados. Yeah, that sounds good.
That sounds good?
It's a shiny Gyarados.
Or maybe you'll have to have a really crazy friendship with your starter, like crazier than type null friendship to unlock its G-Max. That would be really cool, actually. I think that would be probably the best way to do it, because it would kind of even incentivize you to utilize the camping feature more. You know, and actually play with your Pokemon and cook curry with them and build that friendship up. I think that'd be awesome, actually.
Dad, do all these have 3rd evolutions?
No.
Not all of them.
In fact, none of those can evolve anymore. You've evolved all those as much as they can be. Why don't we keep Gigantamax looking for raid battles, though, okay?
Yeah.
Gotta stay focused. We only got one more day to look for these shinies, so we better get some more. I can't even find a single frickin' beam. Sorry for my language. Sometimes it just slips out. Oh, there's one. Nothing over that way, so that's the last one I have. What'd you catch?
I'll show you. I caught that.
Ooh, you caught a Vespa Queen. Very cool.
I'm gonna name it.
Magikarp.
It's a Dynamax Magikarp.
That's not how you spell your name.
It's a Dynamax Magikarp. I forgot
It's a Dynamax Magikarp.
You look so small.
Yeah, Mike, I think that everybody is gonna flip as soon as Diamond and Pearl remakes are announced and we get to see Palkia and Dialga. And honestly, as a lot of people have actually speculated, I think that they'll go the same route that they did with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and we'll get like a Primal Dialga and a Primal Palkia or something like that. And then maybe kind of like what they did with Rayquaza in the Delta episode, we'll get like a Diamond episode or something, or I mean a Platinum episode or something like that, and then there'll be like a Mega form for Giratina, which I think would be really cool. I think it'd be awesome to see a Mega Giratina, you know. All right, I'm gonna invite you. And not to mention, it'd be really cool if they included some form of post-game episode like they did with the Delta episode, where it actually gives you, you know, a story beyond the actual story itself. But yeah, man, it just Sinnoh in general as a region, seen in the three-dimensional graphics of the Switch, and even if they tried to implement some of the mechanics in some way from Sword and Shield, I don't know how they would do the MMO like they have it in the Wild area. But as long as they still had, like, roaming Pokemon and,
I chose my best book queen.
Nice. As long as they still have, like, you know, roaming Pokemon, and they also still at least make it convenient for cooperative battle and trade like they do now, I think that, it'll be an amazing game, you know.
I keep drinking water.
Exactly, that's what we need to do. Keep hydrated. Luckily, all my dens are going to reset after this one, so then we'll probably get more access to Magikarp. It'd be interesting, too, Mike. I wonder what they would do with Arceus in that situation. Because, you know, Arceus is part of those games and part of the lore, the story. Has a lot to do with Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. They didn't really touch on Jirachi in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire at all. But they did with Deoxys. I mean, that was part of the Delta episode. So maybe as part of the Platinum episode, it would be some form of battle or duel between Giratina and Arceus. The creator of life and the creator of darkness, the distortion world? I don't know.
Dad, I pressed too fast. It's gonna hurt all of us. The attack I did except the Magikarp.
What did you use?
I don't know. I didn't read it.
Oh, you know what, Mike? This might be a little disappointing to hear, but I have not had the opportunity to watch through that far into the anime yet. As a kid, I watched through the first, like, up until they got to Hoenn, pretty much. And then now, with my kids, we've started back at the beginning, and we've gotten actually back to Hoenn again. But I've always been really wanting to watch the Diamond and Pearl arc, and not the Black and White, honestly, and the X and Y. Honestly, all the arcs. I'm really excited to see the rest of the stories. But I didn't know that, so that's very interesting. They very well, maybe what they could do is Giratina, maybe you like catch Palkia or Dialga in its normal form, and then Giratina attacks, and Arceus comes down and bestows the primal form or what the bands on your Dialga or Palkia to help take on Giratina or something. I don't know, that'd be just kind of spitballing here, but that's still kind of a cool concept, I feel like. But it is interesting that they put in there that they don't use their full power. It makes me wonder if that was always planned.
I just healed my Pokemon when I was about to knock out.
That's fine.
I didn't even use the attack on any of you.
No, I didn't have the opportunity to. Yours broke out, huh?
No!
I cut mine. Sorry, I wasn't a shiny anyway. You still get all the stuff. Oh. I see. So did the bands come from Arceus? And then a human put them on Dialga and Palkia? Is that what you're saying? But they originated from Arceus somehow? I really gotta get caught up in the anime, especially since the Sword and Shield anime is coming. You know, the English dub of that should be out soon, and that anime series looks so amazing. Ah, okay. Of course Team Galactic would be behind it, of course. Oh, gosh, I really don't know. It'll actually be really cool, too, if they do something clever with Team Galactic in the revised games. I shouldn't say revised, the remakes. You know, gave them, almost like in Sun and Moon where they did a Team Rainbow Rocket. Maybe if they somehow boosted them at the end or something like that. Okay, sounds good. Sorry, like I said, I haven't seen the anime, so I'm kind of in the dark here. I haven't seen that part of the anime yet, so I definitely appreciate you trying to explain it to me. But yeah, on the whole Rainbow Rocket thing too, maybe it'd be cool if in all the remakes, Giovanni like comes out of a wormhole or something and recruits, you know, in that moment recruits the head of that team into Team Rainbow Rocket or something like that, and then you have to take him on, or I don't know. I kind of liked the idea of Giovanni's return in Ultra Sun and Moon, and the whole idea of what he was doing with Rainbow Rocket and all of that. I kind of like that, so I feel like it'd be cool if they gave the evil team more than just a one-dimensional track like they do in a lot of the games. I'll wait for you before I invite.
Why is not gone? I really wanted to catch it.
That's right. You got Vespa Queen already, though. That's what Combi evolves into.
But then I would have had 2 Vespa Queens.
Could have, yeah. Alright, you gonna join in? Borbidai, what's your FC? Are you talking friend code? Like Nintendo Switch friend code? Is that what you're saying? Oh, I have it written down over here somewhere. Where did I put it? I had to write it down because so many people ask for it. It just makes it easier to keep it on hand rather than searching for it every time.
Dad, did you see I put my Gyarados somewhere else? I put my Gyarados away.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. For Aubrey. I put my Gyarados away for Aubrey.
For who?
Aubrey.
Who's that? Oh, for your Vespa Queen you just got?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I named my Vespa Queen.
Absolutely, Barbie Die. Also, thank you so much for joining the stream. And welcome.
No.
Not a shiny this time. Got some poor luck the last couple days with these. Actually, pretty much the entire time we've been hunting, we've had some pretty poor luck. We've only gotten 2, so. I'm gonna Dynamax, alright?
Okay.
Dynamax Bolton.
I never seen a Dynamax like little I never seen a Dynamax
Show up?
no.
Oh, Dynamax Vespa Queen?
Yeah.
Well, maybe if the next raid is yours, maybe if you can find a den, then you can Dynamax, okay?
I can't find any dad.
Well, you were kind of driving around looking for other Pokemon, so it's not like you were really looking too hard. Getting desperate, putting up a shield. Your desperation is for nothing, dear sir, because I am still going to take you out. A weak Pokemon, that's you, Magikarp. Don't do that, please.
Okay. Fox Pokemon. Fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I can't even hear it.
Yes, you can. Unless you can't hear it all, you can definitely hear it, Aubrey. You're not deaf, girl. You don't need it blasting. Plus, not to mention, it probably messes up the microphone if you have your music too loud, because they can hear my game music too, even though we can't. So they're going to be hearing my game music plus your game music, but they're not going to be matched up, so I think it'll just sound convoluted. Right, I'm going to catch it even though there's really no... I mean, increases your catch rate, but whatever.
Didn't catch it.
You didn't?
No.
That's surprising. I mean, I guess it was a 4-star Magikarp. A little bit trickier.
I still got chicken nugget. I call them chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets for my chicken pox.
I found a bush full of berries.
A bush full of berries.
Yeah. Bushes full of berries.
Oh, hey, look. I didn't even see that there before.
You didn't?
Tail slap. Sweet. All right. On to the next. Go to this one over here.
Run away.
Vespa Queens are out in full force today.
I know, I even caught one. Who's that?
Do this here.
Hey! A ball.
Oh, or a swoobat.
Oh, tall, swat. What does that say?
Tail slap. That's the same one I just got. That's hilarious. That's the same TM I just found. In the exact same place. So that means we were just in the exact same location. I'm gonna try and cross the bridge and see if the other side has any more raids. Yeah, there are.
Oh.
Is that the only one over here, though? Yeah. Great ball. It's actually probably one of my favorite things about the wild area is there's literally respawning items everywhere. It's like you probably wouldn't even have to actually shop for anything in this game, essentially, because you could just roam around the wild area and get most of the stuff you need. Let's see what we got here. Ugh. A Bibarel. Barnacle or whatever. Not a Bibarel. The hell am I talking about? Sorry, language. Telling you, it slips out.
After this, I'm gonna change after the stream.
Yeah, we got about 25 minutes left on stream, so let's see if we can get as many shiny Magikarp as possible in that time. I got one right here. Ready?
But I want to go that purple laser.
Just join me first, and then you can. We'll get this taken care of. There you go, now push X. Let's go! I'm waiting for you. Oh, you selected Ninetales.
When I didn't even look.
Yeah, you should have paid more attention. Should you have? Pay more attention to the game, you should. Ah.
That is nice.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's like a fish tail.
What's up, Scoot?
Ooh, scoop, 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 scoop.
Scouty.
Got him out of bada.
Say hello to everybody.
Got him out of bada.
Hi, Scout.
Got him out of bada.
Hi, Scout.
Got him out
Say
of
hi, Scouty.
bada.
Hi, Scouty. Oh, you're so Scouty. Oh, you're such a pretty boy, aren't you? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, you're a pretty boy, Scout. Yes. Everybody wants to look at you.
Tiki, tuki, tiki, tuki.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Little woofer.
Spank your butt. Spank your butt. Spank your butt. Spank your butt. Spank your butt.
All right, sweet, Mike. I will definitely do that. Okay. How interesting. Wow, that's very interesting, Mike. So checking out that picture. That's really interesting. I wonder why those bands look so much like Arceus' bands. I wonder, in the anime, does it explain it? Does it explain how Cyrus was able to... Did he replicate the bands? And then did they explain how the bands control them? I mean, does it grant... I don't know. It's very intriguing. I want to, like, dive into this now.
Good boy.
What are you barking at Addison for? I really want to dive into this now, into the lore of it, to see if there's, you know, some form of explanation behind it.
I'm just a single person. Daddy Rowdy. He used to be my mom's dog.
You're a good boy.
But now it's our
You're a good
dog.
boy, aren't you? He's always been our dog. He's always belonged in this home.
Yeah, one time Mr. Whiskers clawed right in the arm.
We're not talking about that right now. It has nothing to do with what we were just talking about.
Well, I mean,
Mr. Whiskers.
That was so random.
Mr.
when
Whiskers.
Scout put his paw on.
Oh, that's what you were relating it to.
I was petting Mr. Whiskers, and then he decided to claw me because he didn't like that. Like, ow!
You're fine though. You survived it.
Yeah.
I didn't even get
Besides, if
So
I-
he doesn't explain. So it never explains in the anime. I guess that's kind of par of the course for the children. Par of the course for the anime. I guess they don't really over-explain too much. I wonder if there are other people that have done theory videos about this out here in the YouTube land. Because if not, I would love to theorize about this overall.
Please, I want to catch it. I want to.
It disappeared.
I didn't catch it.
The keys to unlock the full power of space and time. Ooh. And I wonder, like I said, I wonder if it was like inspired by Arceus, you know? Because they look identical. And what do those things do for Arceus? Those bands? I mean, do they also unlock its full power? And does that really make sense considering it's like the god of all Pokemon? Did some human put those bands on Arceus, which gave it the ability to be the god Pokemon? I mean, that would kind of unwrite the theory that people are also created by Arceus and are also Pokemon. Oh, Magikarp.
Magikarp. I was gonna go that purple laser.
I don't think there's a Magikarp in that purple laser, but you can check.
Purple laser.
No, that's a Moralo.
What's a Morlor?
Moralo? It's that little mushroom that's up on that Detective Pikachu poster over there. I'm inviting you to the Magikarp raid. You say? Excuse me?
Excuse me.
While you're picking your Pokemon, I'm gonna run and grab myself some more water quickly. Alrighty.
I picked my Corviknight.
Okay, sweet. Let's do it. Shiny, 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 shiny.
Really nice. My water's
Come on,
nice.
come on, come on. Ah, blast!
Where's Addison?
He's out in the kitchen area. I think he just went upstairs though. No shiny this time. You wanna sit with me?
Yeah. Do you want to get a Dynamax Corviknight?
I'm gonna Dynamax my Boltund.
He's Dynamax my Corviknight. He's like, I want my Dynamax.
You know, Mike, that's not a bad theory either, that those bands are on there specifically to contain its power in the bean that is Arceus, maybe, you know? I know that there are some theories out there that link Arceus with the unknowns.
Dynamax Corviknight.
So maybe there's something like, you know, the unknowns being kind of like the data or the fabric of the Pokemon world. Maybe, you know, it's the unknowns that bestowed those rings on Arceus or something like that, you know?
He's Dynamax Corviknight. He Dynamax his Bolton. He says soundy for Soundaconda. There's no Soundaconda.
No, he's just talking right now. There's no point arguing with him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just trying to be argumentative.
You get a Dynamax Soundaconda?
We haven't found any Gigantamax Sandaconda today.
No.
I mean, we found one yesterday, but not today.
He...
Max Lightning. Got it. Did you get it? Nice done.
Look what ball I used.
Oh, Premier Ball. I like using Premier Balls. I kind of like Premier Balls better than Pokeballs.
I got 3 chicken nuggets. 3 chicken.
3 of them? Sweet. By the end of all these raids, we seriously are going to be rich. Aubrey already has like $700,000 just from doing the raids. She definitely didn't start out with that much. And I haven't even tried selling all my nuggets and stuff yet, so I have no idea what I'm going to end up with. Hey, another Magikarp.
I was gonna go at my laser.
I'll wait for you then. Just get over there and then we'll see. It's a shame that there was no new types this gen. I just think Game Freak burned through different types. Yeah, honestly, I would have thought that sound, like a sound-based type, would have been the next one to be added. There are so many Pokemon that have a theme to them about sound and noise, and it just seems like a no-brainer. And not to mention, there are Pokemon that have, you know, that are a little bit
Whoa.
overpowered. That's a Sigalith. That are a little bit overpowered when it comes to their advantages and weaknesses. So I feel like, I don't know, they could balance it by adding a few more types in. You know, they can continue to balance that out more and find ways to continue to balance. I'm going to invite you. Oh, nice, Mike. You have 1.5 mil? Jeez. Rolling in the dough.
I really want to trade him one of my Magikarps.
He has a lot of shinies, Mike does. A lot of shiny Magikarp.
I could just trade him one more.
You're goofy. Did you join? I actually was very disappointed too, to be honest, that there wasn't any new evolutions. Like, I would have figured they were either going to add a new evolution, whether it be like Steel or Dragon, and then if they didn't add a new evolution, I would have thought they would have added a new Pokemon that carries a similar gimmick. Because, as of right now, all the evolutions are based on special types. It would have been really cool if they would have had a different Pokemon that has an evolutionary branch that is based around physical types or something like that, you know? But they didn't, and that's kind of surprising. This will be the first, like, they actually broke, for the first time, they broke their evolution pattern. So it's a very interesting move on their behalf.
Okay, Scout.
No shinies, man. It's like striking out today.
I hate that there's no shiny.
Maybe we'll at least get lucky and get one. Who knows?
I am super mad.
Well, we at least got 2 already, so we can't be mad. You could be disappointed that you didn't get more, but you can't be mad that you still got one. In fact, that you got 2.
Boy,
Should feel grateful.
Daddy's got a boy.
There's definitely new G-Max to come. Some people have hacked G-Max toxicity into the game, have enough to...
Dad,
The game
should
hasn't
I
seen it.
actually... If they have, like, a bunch of Magikarps, should I trade in my Gyarados?
No, you don't need to do that. He has Gyarados too. He's probably not somebody that you would want to trade the shiny Magikarp to because he doesn't necessarily want or need it. But I was just using him as an example of somebody who likes to trade online.
Maybe Jeffrey?
Maybe Jeffrey would. Actually, I bet you he would because I don't think he's gotten too many shinies himself yet. But yeah, actually, Mike, you're right. Like I said before, I'm aware of the data mine that has come out. And, you know, there were a couple of G-Max forms they haven't introduced yet. And there were also a bunch of returning Pokemon that weren't in this game yet. Obviously, the ones that can be transferred from Pokemon Home that don't just appear in this game naturally. But then in that same data mine leak, they also went over how there was, I think, 2 mythicals that aren't in the game, but have, like, slotted positions for being in the game. And I feel like there was something else, like another legendary, but maybe I'm just not remembering that correctly. I'll have to go back. It's been so long since all the data mines and leaks and stuff were rolling out, and it's been like, you know, almost 2 months now the games have been out, so everybody's mind's been kind of past everything that leaked in the beginning, you know. At least it's hard for me to remember.
Pyro Ball! Pyro Ball! Dad, I did Pyro Ball.
You did Pyro Ball? Are you a fire Pokemon?
Yeah?
Oh, you have your Cinderace, that's right. Gigantamax Toxtricity actually looks awesome too. And there's a lot of people speculating that they think that giant on the hill is in relation to Gigantamax Toxtricity or something like that. And I know there were those 2 Toxtricity statues outside Nessa's, even though she doesn't use a Toxtricity. And they don't really explain why those statues are even in her city to begin with. So there's a lot of strange things. And why did they hold Gigantamax Toxtricity back to begin with? You know, are they going to have some form of event or some kind of story aspect that plays into it somehow? And that's why there's statues and the possible hillside carving relation. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the next few months really start to roll out when Pokemon Home becomes available too, which is this month. And that's actually crazy too, because they've given us almost no details about what Pokemon Home is going to include in it at all, but it's supposedly coming out sometime in the next 20-some days. Find some items. Do I have any more beams that I haven't checked yet? I don't think so. Probably good. What's at that beam? Magikarp! Invite me over.
I have 3 aisles right now.
Oh, let's do Cohen.
See, Dad? I have this aisle.
3 boxes.
Yeah, 3
Yep.
boxes.
That's cool. Hey, Evil Tires, welcome to the stream. No problem not being able to stay long. Thank you for joining to begin with. We are striking out over and over and over and over again, getting a single shiny today in these Magikarp battles. Ah, and you got 5, so you gotta rub it into us. We're hoping this one, right? Woo! Maybe you just being here will grant us some extra luck. Are you going to go ahead and start?
Cross my fingers. I'm trying hard. No.
Wah. I would love to at least get one today. Especially since this is the last day, I'm pretty much going to be able to do it. I might have some time tomorrow. Well, I already have. You are very grateful. Or not grateful. You're very gracious, I should say. With offering to get. We actually do have 2. Each of us in our family did catch 2 the other day. I've just been kind of on this kick of trying to catch as many as I possibly can. But I really appreciate the offer to trade me one, Evil Tired.
Look.
And yes, Mike, El Creamy definitely, I feel like, has that theme of having, you know, many different types and plays into that a little bit. I just feel like, to me at least, in my own perspective, it doesn't really fulfill the same gap that Eevee did. You know, like,
No, you.
El Creamy doesn't change.
Yes,
it's
it
still just
did.
El Creamy.
Yeah.
Oop. Careful. It's still just El Creamy no matter what type you change it to, per se. Whereas, at least with Eevee, you give it a stone, it evolves into an entirely new Pokemon with its own typing and its own movesets and everything else.
Dad,
I like El Creamy, don't get me wrong.
can you evolve an Eevee with a leaf stone?
Yes, in this game, all the Eevees evolve with stones. There's no weird gimmicks to evolve them. So an Ice Stone evolves your Eevee into a Glaceon, and a Leaf Stone would evolve your Eevee into a Leafeon.
I would really like a leaf
There are nearly 70 different Alcremies? Wow. That's crazy, actually. I didn't even know that. Back when they were first announcing everything and they had shown off Alcremie, I know that they had shown, like, 20 different forms of it at that time, but I didn't know there was actually going to be that many more. That's incredible. How do you actually change the flavor of your Alcremie? Is it through curry? Or feeding it, or holding in a berry, or, like, what exactly do you do? I don't even know. Evil Tires, my current shiny team is Maractus, Gyarados, Obstagoon, Berserker, and you forgot the other ones, except the Espeon, Sylveon, and Umbreon. you're meaning Espeon, Sylveon, and Umbreon in Sword and Shield don't evolve with Stone? That would actually be crazy too, because I thought they did. I thought it would be the Dawn Stone, the Dusk Stone, and the Shiny Stone. Because, I mean, there is that one area, when you get access to ride on water, there's that one area you go and there's all those stones set up in a circle, and every single one has evolutionary stones next to it. So I just thought, you know, hey, all the evolutions evolved using stones this game. But maybe I'm wrong.
So, Dad?
Yeah?
So, if I get an Eevee and I evolve with my Eevee into a Leafeon?
Mm-hmm. Although you can catch wild Leafeons in this game. You wouldn't even necessarily have to evolve it.
You got Dynamax Mr. Mime?
You want to look for more raids? If you have any Magikarps? Because I don't have any more Magikarps, I'd have to get rid of the couple that I have up in order to respawn everything.
You get a Mr.
You give it a sweet that you
Mime?
get and spinning at certain times of day, and you give Milkreed the thing. Oh, okay.
You get a Mr. Mime?
That's not Mr. Mime. That's actually a Barnacle or whatever. It looks like a Mr. Mime in the silhouette. I can see why you would think that. And there are and Evil Tires is saying there are way more than 70 even? That's just crazy. Is it because there's like combinations and so there's, you know, let's say 15 different things that you can then match up with each other, which then, you know, exponentially gives you 70 different variations? Is that how it works? Because that just seems crazy. You know, how do they... I don't know, this seems crazy. Yes, it's friendliness and time of day. Okay, so that makes sense. I mean, that's what they did in previous games with Espeon, Umbreon, and Sylveon, was always based on its friendship level and the time of day. You're giving it a, you know, you're leveling it up. So that makes sense. That makes total sense. And I guess it's interesting that they decided to change Leafeon and Glaceon's evolutionary manner, but they didn't change Umbreon, Espeon, and Sylveon. That's actually an interesting maneuver, I feel like. Do Sylveon, I'm guessing maybe Sylveon has to be like what it was in past games where your Eevee has to know a fairy type move when leveling up with high friendship in order to evolve it into Sylveon? Because otherwise you would think it would just evolve into an Espeon or Umbreon depending on the time of day too, right?
What do all these say?
Check summary, swap Pokemon, restore, held item, and back. But you should go and see if you can find yourself a Magikarp, please. So we do have to end the stream soon, and I don't have any that are available to me right this second.
I don't even.
I have a couple of dens, but they're not Magikarp. I would have to battle something else in the meantime.
I don't see anything. I don't see any other laser.
Which I guess I'll just do very quickly then. Also, where you get the stones, you can not only find Leafeon, but all the evolutions there, depending on the weather. Oh, yeah, I saw a Vaporeon and a Leafeon. I kind of figured that most of them would be there, but I didn't know that all of them were actually there. That's really cool. Do you want to catch this Gothorita with me?
What's this Gothorita?
That's a psychic Pokemon. Do you want to?
No.
Okay, keep looking for Magikarps then, please. While I take this down quickly so I can reset all my dens. Yeah, Tires, you definitely should. In the description down below, I have a link to my Discord server. We stay in touch all the time, have conversation about Pokemon, and I'm always open to conversation about everything else too. It doesn't have to just be Pokemon. I like all sorts of things. Even outside of gaming, the gaming world, there are plenty of things that I have interests in. So definitely, you know, if anybody is interested, join the Discord server to stay in touch. Oh yeah, and you don't have to do it. It's not like it has to be done for this stream or anything. I'm just saying for future reference, if you join, you know, if you wanted to stay in touch with everybody that's typically in these streams, a lot of people will probably eventually, you know, be a part of it too. So. And you can always find, this is bubbling in my head, you can always find the link on my other videos too that aren't streams. I don't know if you guys really watch any of my other videos, the ones that I actually edit and produce, but I also leave links in the descriptions of those too. So if you don't get the opportunity to hop onto another stream, you can always just go to my channel under my videos, and basically any of the videos include the link. So they also include the link to my social accounts. I have a Facebook, an Instagram. I am a Patreon, but I don't really have it set up completely and entirely yet. Something I'm still trying to kind of work on, and I don't really have too many subscribers at this point yet anyway, so it's not like it's absolutely required right this second, but I do have a lot of social accounts, and the links down below. You can follow along, stay in touch. And on the social accounts, I tend to post a lot more personal stuff too, like pictures of us gaming, pictures of us out and about in the world, and all the other things we do. So you can kind of get more of a feel even for who my family is and who I am as a person and all that fun stuff. Psyshock. Man, she's just knocking out everything. I gotta knock you out before you take all these people out. Well, we travel, I mean, well, the kids are young at this point. It's a lot of, not really, like, super close, but, I mean, we go out. I am originally from Iowa, so we do travel there once a year and all the things in between and whatnot, but my wife and I are actually setting up where this upcoming summer we're going to start doing, mini, like, staycation type stuff, so, like, not every weekend, but maybe every other weekend, or maybe even just once a month, we're going to just pick a place on the map around us that's, you know, within 6-7 hours. Driving distance that wouldn't be too overwhelming to do in one day. And then that's where we're going to pick, and we're going to go and, you know, find everything we can do to have fun there and enjoy and check out. So I love, you know, chronicling all of that. I actually have a second channel, you guys may not know, called Full-Minded Fools.
Watch your stone.
Very good. And on that channel is like where my wife and I post a lot of our actual like personal projects in growth and development. She is an amazing cook and loves, you know, handling food and making food and everything. So on that channel is where we do videos for like, you know, food instructionals and stuff like that. I'm a musician, so I actually post music to that channel that I write and record. I post covers as well. We homeschool our kids, so I'm going to start doing like a homeschooling session thing on there as well, where I go over all of our homeschooling plans for each week. And then that's also where we're going to kind of put all of our travels and our life exploration and la 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 la. Ah, you're from New York, huh? I've never been out to New York. That's someplace I have always wanted to at least visit. I don't know that I could live there, but I would always want to visit. There's probably just infinite stuff to see there, honestly. You probably never get bored ever. I couldn't imagine. Out here in Wisconsin, there's a lot less stuff to do. I can tell you that. But that's why we have to travel. Although we do live in an area that's extremely touristy. This is like considered the Florida of the Midwest, pretty much. You know, we get like 2.5 million visitors every single summer to this county, and it's a very beautiful location. You know, there's beaches and shorelines because we're along the Great Lakes, and I mean, it's amazing, and we have a lot of fun, and all summer long, my family goes bike riding all throughout the county, and exploring all the parks and everything else. There's a lot to do here, too, that keeps us busy, but, you know, you get bored with the area you live in sometimes, especially when there's only a certain amount of stuff you really can do. Yeah, and Mike over here gets to boast that he's from Ireland. I am very jealous of that. I really am, because Ireland just, to me, has always looked like one of the most scenic, most aesthetically appealing islands, you know, island nations ever. It just everything just seems green and beautiful there.
I keep getting into Pokemon. 20,000 macaroons. Dad, I bought Pokemon balls before, like the other stream. I also bought Pokédoll.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's a good idea. It helps you get away from really tough Pokemon.
There's actually 4 Pokédoll.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, Mike. Your country, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a small country, that's for sure. If anything, it kind of maintains a bit of a close-knit community versus, you know, something like America here where everything's so spread out and all the dense population is on either the west coast or the east coast pretty much. And then you've got this huge central swath of land where everybody's really spread out, really rural. And so, like, the people on the west and east coast don't really relate to each other, and they definitely don't relate to the people in the middle. So I feel like, you know, a lot of the reason why the world is seeing so much conflict and chaos and divisiveness here in America is partially for we're just too many different types of people from too many different locations and regions all trying to come together and agree on the same thing. It doesn't work, you know. We really should just go back to 50 sovereign states, you know, and come together only for world-related issues like we were originally intended. I always have to laugh at the fact, I mean, not to get too political, but I always have to laugh at the fact that we were a country that broke away from a king for the very specific purpose that we didn't want somebody thousands of miles away governing everybody else, even though they had no idea, you know, what life was like here in the colonies for Americans. And yet now we're in a position where one man, the president, has been granted so much power outside of what he was originally established to do that he essentially is a king, and to many of us he is thousands of miles away. And he doesn't have generally, none of the presidents have generally had, you know, our best interest, everybody's best interest in mind. So it is interesting that America's kind of come back to the place it was when it originally formed, like before it originally formed.
I'm trying to look for lasers and I don't even see any.
After I defeat this Swoobat, I'll actually have a lot more lasers open up for me. Although I don't really have that effective of a Pokemon against it right now, unfortunately. Mike, I'm sure Ireland gets like millions of tourists a year, right? I could only imagine. And I'm sure with you Evil Tires too, I mean, you're used to just millions of people probably being around you all the time. Are you from New York City or just New York State? I mean, I'm assuming that if you're from New York State, you probably visit the city, at least some. But, you guys are probably used to a lot of people. Well, in Wisconsin here, we've got, I think, 5 million, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not originally from Wisconsin, so I know more about my home state of Iowa than I do of Wisconsin, essentially. But I think we're about 5 million people total in the whole state. Which is funny because I think last time I checked, New York City has like somewhere around that just by itself. And where I'm from in Iowa, we actually have a base population of about 2 million in total. Which has always been crazy to me because when I moved up here to this county in Wisconsin, getting 2 million visitors a summer, you know, this county just explodes and it's like a beehive. There's people everywhere. And that was a huge culture shock to me growing up in a town of 8,000 people in a state of 2 million, you know, like it's a different world. So I mean, that's why I say, like, I don't think I could actually live in New York City because I think it'd just be way too overwhelming to all my senses. But yeah, that's where we sit at, about 5 million people, Mike. And the town I actually live in right now has about 9,000 to 10,000 people in it. So it's really not even that big of a town either. And only just slightly bigger than my actual hometown was. Let's see here. Snow's gonna block all my view. Are there any lasers on this side? No. It's kind of frustrating. It's like the moment you clear one side of lasers, then they all go to the other side, instead like making you travel all the way over to the other side. And I guess I could just fly, but maybe I will.
I'm back. Throw my costume on.
Very nice. I'm gonna try and search for one more Magikarp here for our stream. Let's finish it out with one more Magikarp to see if we can get shiny. Why is that the only beam I have? That doesn't even make sense.
We'll just have to check it out.
Mike says, "Oh my God, Dublin City is packed in the summer. Literally, it can be dangerous. The guard I have to close off roads, but I get around also. My country has about 4.6 million. Yeah, that's crazy. So your country is, I mean, I would like to do a size comparison, but I'm sure your country is about a quarter of the size of Wisconsin in landmass, or at least in that range, just off the top of my head, knowing geography. So just think about that, you know. It's like less than half the size of this state, but has, you know, around the same population in total, you know, stuck inside of it. Which is what I mean. I feel like maybe you guys are a bit more close as a community overall and as a country, because you are in close quarters with each other, and you do have to share ideas and ideals in the same space. And I mean, I know that there is actual conflict that takes place in Ireland, but I just feel like it isn't as... Oh, that's why, because I have this stupid thing I have to do quick. Alright. But either way. And yeah, I bet you... I mean, honestly, it can get a little dangerous here, too. There are definitely some shady things that take place, especially in the summertime in this county. You know, with the influx of tourists and everything, it just brings some riffraff and some less than favorable people in with it. But in a place like Dublin, I feel like the tourists go there with this idea that it's like all about getting drunk and being crazy, because that's the Irish way, right? Which is kind of honestly how people see Wisconsin, too, but... I feel like Ireland, in a sense, even has more of that theme behind it because, you know, Guinness and everything. It's like, it's what Ireland's known for, essentially. Also, all the Americans that come over swarm to the bars and pubs, so it's kind of funny when you hear someone with a real strong American accent, unlike yours. Are you saying that I don't have a strong American accent? Is that what you're saying? I'm curious. Aw, hi, sweetie.
Who is that?
That's a barbacle.
That's not
Barbaracle. Barbacle? I don't really know how to pronounce that name.
And that's
I've always called it a
not
barbacle, but that's not really correct. And also, Mike, I feel like at this point, America very well could be challenging Ireland for being the nation of drunks. I mean, that's why when Americans come over there, they swarm there, because they're like, this is where we get the real stuff. I shouldn't have even used that. That was a bad move. I wasn't paying attention. I really should have changed my Pokemon, but I wasn't really paying attention to that either. More involved in conversation. Really? So that's interesting, Mike. What I've actually always learned being here in America is that everybody in America thinks the Midwest has a very strange accent, because the West Coast talk really I don't know. They talk really like lazy, I guess I would say. They very shorthand, very slang, very very lazy. I feel like the West Coast in a sense is, and not in a bad way, just the way they speak is that way. And then you got the East Coast, which is very quick and very, they have a very thick dialect. You know, a very thick accent behind their, you know, like from Boston and New York. And I mean, I guess I'm probably saying that totally terribly, so Evil Tires don't hate me too much. But I'm not from there, so I can't necessarily do it very well. Either way, and then you got the South that talks with the drawl, and they talk real slow like, and you know, they really have this very interesting accent to their voice. And like, you know, and then you got the Midwest where we just talk normally. We don't really have an accent. We don't really, you know, speak slowly. We don't really only speak in slang. We don't really speak too quickly. And so it's kind of like the Midwest has a neutral American accent, whereas the rest have actual dialogue or dialect to them, you know? Oh god, also try to pronounce these words. My god. Okay, so Padraig, Gardai, Sorshi. That's my best bet.
Dad,
Yeah.
I can't find any more good lasers.
Alright. I'm gonna finish up with this Barbaracle. It's probably I'm probably not even gonna be able to actually defeat it. Because I do not have the right Pokemon for this battle by any means. Hi buddy.
Dad?
Here, I'll give you some of mine for now, okay? Because I'm almost done.
Oh, it's the water.
It is water, you're right. To revisit, don't try to understand Gaelic. Is that what you're saying? Gaelic? Gaelic? It sucks for newcomers. No, I'm saying. Is the word Gaelic? Gaelic? I can't even pronounce that word. Gael? I'm trying to say it with English, you know, the English pronunciation of each letter, and I'm assuming that that's totally wrong. Because in English, it'd be Gaelgi. The way that each letter would be pronounced. I mean, honestly, if I'm going to visit other countries, I would like to at least have some form of understanding of how to speak to the local population. I think it's very arrogant and egotistical that Americans think they should just go to another country and everybody should speak English and speak it clearly. You know, especially, yeah, it is what it is. Either way, I would like to at least learn, you know, whatever local communication I can, so that when I go there, I can actually communicate with them in the natural language to the best of my ability. I do know some Spanish. I'm nowhere near fluent. But I think if I went to a Spanish-speaking country, I probably could at least find my way around, look for the bathroom, get some water, find a restaurant. You know, like, I'd still be able to operate. That'd be awesome, Mike. Please do. Please record yourself saying those words so that I can get real clarification as to how they're actually pronounced. Because that would be awesome. I'm a huge history, culture, geography, anthropology nerd. I actually always wanted to be an archaeologist or an anthropologist when I was a child. And so history, geography, all these things, they really, really interest me. And so...
Can I get a snowman?
Sure. And so I love learning new things about cultures and language and everything like that. So like I said, it's actually, you know, there's more than just gaming that we can always talk about, because there's a lot of things in this world that interest me. No more Magikarp hunts for you, girl?
No.
Alright. With that, guys, I probably should head out so that I can start getting our lunch together here for the day. Aubrey's got to go back to her mother's house. I share custody with her mother. So unfortunately, she has to go back to her mother's house today, so I'd like to spend some other time outside of the stream. But, what do you say, Mike? Oh, don't worry, nobody speaks Irish. Only people raised speaking it do, but I'm fluent because school basically pump you with the languages. Well, that's nice, because American schools don't do that, honestly. That's a huge problem in our schools here, is that American schools do not care to teach any other language, essentially. They even make Spanish, you know, an elective. You get to choose whether you want to take it or not. It's not required. So I feel like that's such a huge problem, you know? And honestly, it's kind of sad to think that over there in Ireland, the majority speaks English. Like, I know that you're so close to England and you guys have shared a lot of common history throughout the years, but it is sad when you start to see cultures kind of mold and lose some of their individual identity like that, you know? But I mean, I guess it is what it is. That's kind of how humans evolve and society evolves overall, but
Dad,
it's cool that you're fluent. Good for you.
is it okay if I like change my clothes and stuff?
Yeah, we're gonna be done here anyway, so I'm just closing out right now for the video, for the live stream.
I'm gonna sell some stuff.
Okay, just make sure you don't sell your bird, your fossilized bird.
I won't.
But yeah, like I was saying, gotta head out for now. I really appreciate all of you guys joining the stream. Like I said, I can't say it enough. It actually continues to motivate me to continue to make this content. You know, I've went since June with only a handful of subscribers and only a handful of viewers, and a couple of my videos have gotten like over 100 views or close to 100. And, you know, that always helps motivate me to keep going because I'm not getting paid for this. I don't make any money. I don't get any real reward outside of just knowing that I'm bringing people enjoyment and knowing that people would like to come and see what I have to deliver. So it really seriously helps me stay motivated to continue making this content. The more I see people enjoying it and joining me in conversation on these streams. So Mike, especially thank you to you. You've been one of the #1 supporters of this channel, and I seriously can't thank you enough. I'm going to have to come up with some form of reward for you, just for your undying support, honestly, because it can't go unnoticed, for sure. I have to do something to show you how much it matters and means to me, because it really does. For those of you who would like to stay up to date, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do post content every single day. It's not always 100% Pokemon, but it's mostly Pokemon. I do live streams pretty much every other day, I think, at this point. And I have recorded and edited, produced videos that I post on the other days. Theories, how-tos, poke education, news. I cover basically everything I can. I do card openings. We have a family dice battle that we're going to be doing here this afternoon, but it'll be going up on Saturday. So, always lots of things going on. Please make sure you stay in touch, click the notification bell, and yeah, we'll see you guys all on the next stream, the next video, tonight. I don't know exactly what time yet, but I will post on the Discord server, on my Facebook, and it'll be up on YouTube probably a couple hours ahead of time. We're doing a family fun stream with just my wife tonight, where we're going to be picking through all of our games and playing together. Tomorrow will be the dice battle when it goes up, and then Sunday will be my news with Noki. So, yeah, make sure you stay in tune, and thank you guys again. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.